If you're hearing this, welcome to another episode of It's a Streamable Life podcast with Brandon and Lorin. And it's our last episode of the year, 2025, where we'll be doing our annual rewards, talking about our favorite and least favorite things of television and film, the past 365. But first, we're going to get into our little news segment here. We're still talking about the upcoming Oscars.
Yep.
And as we get into that, how was your holiday?
Pretty good actually. It was kind of, I wouldn't say last minute, but we didn't really have a set plan. But then my aunt and my grandmother came up from North Carolina, so then we're like, well, we'll just go over there, and we had dinner at my cousin's house, and it was good. The food was good. We played games and stuff, laughed, and yeah, it was a good Christmas. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
How about you?
ours was really chill. We had food. Brittany and Gary came over, so
Hmm.
really relaxing. We still have lasagna. Well, not we still have different types of spaghetti because mom did
Yeah.
like spaghetti
Yeah, she told me that.
dinner.
Yeah, that she's gonna do like
Yeah,
pasta and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So it was cool, really cool. All right, and as we know, next year we'll be getting ready for the Oscars in March. So we've been looking at the main categories, see who's vying for a spot on the nominations list. And right now we'll be discussing the race for supporting actor and actress.
Okay.
So we'll do the ladies first. So supporting actress, the names are Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good. We have Inga Id's daughter Lilias
Yeah, I know you're talking
for
about.
for
You're
Sentimental Value.
right.
Amy Madigan for Weapons, and
Mm-hmm.
Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another.
Okay.
And all
Yeah.
these predictions are provided by Variety.com. Um, I've seen two of these films. So between the two films I've seen, I would my vote would go for Amy in Weapons as the
Yeah.
Aunt Gladys, the
Same
antagonist of
here.
the film.
And I think Sentimental Values coming to streaming networks early next year, so we can see that before the actual award show. Because I've heard a lot about it as well. Literally everybody, Elle Fanning, Inga, and what's the father's name of the Skarsgård, Stellan?
Stellan.
Yeah, all their performances were very good. So we'll have to
Yeah.
see.
I've heard that while Ariana's good in Wicked, people were not as welcoming for the sequel. I've heard it's not
I
as good
see.
as the first.
I kind of
So
I kind of feel like it maybe would have benefited for more of a wait. Like it still made bank, but if they had waited till
hmm
2026 or 2027, even people would have been like more geared up. Back to back is
yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
So.
I kind of lost some of the hype for it with it coming so
Right,
soon. Yeah, some people felt it should have just been one film, maybe a bit longer movie,
right.
but just splitting up in two, I don't know, kind of suck some of the life out of it. And then I did see Tiana Taylor in One Battle After Another, which we'll talk about later, and I can see how she can be in the conversation
Right.
for this role, even though she's not in the film very long. And some people have some qualms about her role in general. The
Mm,
performance is fine.
yeah.
It's definitely Tiana-ish, given like her past performances, sort of like her persona. So I don't know. It's kind of a reach, I think, but
Okay. Yeah.
we can discuss that later. For supporting actor, we've got Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, Andrew Scott for Blue Moon, and then Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about Hamnet. I think that may be one of those sleeper movies. It may grab like the foreign. Um, well, maybe not, because Sentimental Value is a foreign film as well. So we'll see how that plays out. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've heard nothing about Blue Moon. The first thing I saw about
Oh,
is
I
maybe
know.
2 days ago.
Yeah, I know Ethan Hawke's in it, but that's about
Yeah.
it. I don't know the gist of it at all. With One Battle After Another, I could definitely see Sean Penn. I mean, both him and Benicio are good in it.
Yeah.
Benicio's role is a much lighter um, performance in like a serious film. Sean is the villain, and
Okay.
he has a certain edge to him. So I could see him possibly getting it, which I'll again discuss a little bit later. But I that's the only movie I've seen out of this bunch. So,
Okay.
and right now the front runners, according to Variety, are Skarsgård and Lidias. So both sentimental value
Yeah.
nominations there. We will gear up for the Oscars Sunday, March 15th on ABC. And a little news here, we did find out that by 2029, the Oscars will be moving to YouTube. So,
And
and it's
but yeah, that's a horrible move.
100-year history, whatever how long,
Yeah.
it'll be moving to a platform online where maybe film buffs watch podcasts, but I don't know if they'll be willing to watch the Oscars.
They have to be trying to get the youth that are on,
Mm-hmm.
Twitch and Kick and YouTube and all these streaming type things. It's not going to work because they don't really watch movies like that. Like,
Right. They're
why?
not watching these movies.
No, not at all. Won't take away from your main audience. That's crazy.
I feel like instead of trying to conform to the times, like totally conform, just stick to what you know.
All
And
right.
whoever's going to watch is going to watch. It's that
Exactly.
simple. So,
I mean, whatever the ratings, they're not going to stop having the Oscars. Like, yeah, right.
exactly. All right, we're going to go ahead and transition to our feature presentation, given we have some big topics to talk about. This is our best of 2025. So we typically have a few awards or superlatives we talk about in the TV and film realms. We'll just go down the line, discuss them, either our top three or top whatever, wherever this conversation leads us. So
All right.
we'll start first with our favorite episodes of the year.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm going to start with my top three, and then if we have time, I'll mention some honorable mentions or whatnot.
That works. Yeah.
So my top three, number one would be Severance's episode 7, Chikai Bardo.
Yes.
This was the episode that explored, God, now their names are slipping me. Gemma and what the hell is his name?
I'm gonna say his real name is Adam, but what is
Adam
his name?
Scott.
His name is show
Good
Mark.
Lord.
Mark. Yeah.
Mark's passed their lives together before the tragic accident. Extraordinary episode, had a different cinematographer on it, which gave it like a lush cinematic feel, and was sort of like the peak of the episode that sort of finally explained what happened or what we think may have happened, that sort of foiled that marriage and the life of Gemma. So
Right.
that's my number one. My number two will go to Andor's Who Are You? This is
Yep.
another pivotal episode. This was the massacre at Gorman, where we had many of our players meet for the first time. You had the Empire conspiring to orchestrate violence against the Gormans to justify their point of resources. You had Andor there to assassinate the Imperial officer that had been following them, and then you
Right.
had, think of his real name, Cyril, finally find the truth out of how he was used by the Empire, and him and Andor cross paths. It's very violent episode, but a very truth-bearing episode of how a government can orchestrate the fall of a population and make it seem like it's their fault.
Right.
And finally, my number three will go to What We Had Been Told. This was an episode in the third season of Dark Winds where our lead, Lieutenant Joe Leaphorn, played by Zahn McClarnon, um, comes to terms with some of the trauma from his past as a child at the hands of a Catholic priest and what actions his father took to find justice after, the justice system failed
Right.
these indigenous populations. So very another extraordinary episode that merged the show's drama with Navajo mythology culture. It was
That's
a
kind of
really excellent
cool.
episode.
All right, cool. For me, I'll start from the bottom. I had to write mine down. I'll start from three, which for me came from Alien Earth, and this was the episode um, In Space, No One, and this is episode five. And this was like an alien film in itself. That's what it felt like
Yeah.
watching it. It felt like alien. It was intense. You learn about the background of characters, like I think it was Moro or however you pronounce it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it really laid into the themes of kind of how throughout all of Alien, it's all about how these businesses or these corporations are doing things in spite of the human lives. They just don't really care, which is very similar to actual life. But this episode, even though that season was very good, was the standout episode. I can't imagine anybody else would say otherwise. So yeah, I picked that one for number three. Number two, I picked episode 9 of Andor, Welcome to the Rebellion. So this shows you the aftermath of everything that happens in episode 8. And I thought that was good. And um, you kind of see how things play out. You get more from Mon Mothma. I can never pronounce her name. I think that's right. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of deep things, kind of just like what does the future hold now? And I thought it was a very good episode to follow. What was probably the maybe the best episode, but yeah, I picked this one. And then my top episode, much like yours, was the Shikai Bardo from Severance. It happens every once in a while where you just get blown away by an episode of television, and that was one of them. And the last time I felt that way about episode of television was probably the series finale of um, why is it escaping me? We used to watch the show with Rami Malek, Mr.
Oh,
Robot.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah, where I was just kind of like, whoa, like blown away by the story at one, but blown away by the
Mm-hmm.
creativity and talent of the people behind the show. So yeah.
Nice, nice. And then some honorable mentions. I had uh, Welcome to Darius the Black Spot,
Oh
which
yeah.
was an incredibly hard episode to watch, but it's an
Yes.
event that happens in the book that they brought to life. Paradise's premiere episode, Wildcat is Down, where you
Okay. Yeah.
the signature Dan Fogelman twist there at
Right.
the end. And then a small show that was supposed to come to AMC, but at the last minute they canceled it. So 2 years later it came to Tubi. It was called Damascus,
Oh
about
yeah.
middle-aged black guy that was trying out this new futuristic therapy method. It's called a
Yeah.
Thanksgiving episode where in this alternate dimension, he's his happiest when he's in a romantic relationship with his best male friend, and kind of
Oh wow.
explored that at Thanksgiving at his friend's house. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
That's cool. Oh yeah, I didn't have
All
any.
right,
I just stuck to it.
okay, that's cool. All right, moving on to favorite film scenes. I only had two because I couldn't really think
Yeah, it's kind of
of
difficult.
any others with movies. But kind of easy ones here. I had Sinners, I Lied to You scene, which is maybe one of the best cinematic scenes of the year,
Yeah.
where you had Sammy perform, and in this performance, you get a glimpse of his powers as a griot in the African culture. And we see like a generational history
Right.
of these talkers through generations through music. It was just incredible. And then my second one was The Glasses, Death, and Weapons. Um,
Yes.
just complete chaos and unexpected, but just justified. Like
Yeah.
justice was served
But it's also low key
for her
funny.
actions. Yeah, very funny. But just sort of like out of nowhere, this comedic moment kind of brought some levity to a very tragic situation. So,
Right. So, okay, I have three, and I was this is difficult for me as well. So for number three, I have a scene from 28 years later, and
Mm.
there's this when they put out the trailer, there is this song called not a song, but a poem being read. This actual poem that was written, I think, in between World War One and World War Two, and it's called Boots, and it's very intense and very loud. And in this scene, um, you have the main character walking on the beach and they've cut in actual footage of like young men
Oh,
getting ready for an actual war with this poem playing in the background. It's very intense, but it was very good. So that was a scene. um, I love a chase scene, so I put for number two the subway scene from Highest to Lowest when Denzel is chasing after ASAP. That movie was not the best, but that scene
right.
stuck out for
That
me.
scene was very good. Yeah.
Yeah, so that one felt really, really good. And then the same as you, Sinners, the dance scene, and I heard it mentioned because I didn't see Sinners in theater, so I'd heard everybody talk about, oh, that scene was so well done and different than when I saw it at home. I was like, wow, that was well done. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. All right, so lead performances. So this is just in general, whether TV or movies.
okay,
Um, excuse me. I'll start with my bottom one. Goes to Connor Story for his performance in the hit HBO Max show Heated Rivalry.
oh
That's
okay,
been on the tip of everyone's tongue. He plays
everywhere, yeah.
he plays Ilyas Romanov, the Russian hockey player. He's not even Russian. I'm thinking he has like this strong Russian accent the entire series. But that was my number three. My number two is Adam Scott for Severance. Even
Absolutely.
though he lost the Emmy, he has played two different people for two seasons. Um, Incredibly. And the scene where he's having an argument with his Audi,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
penultimate episode was just incredible. The way he was able to switch between those very two distinct personalities. So I definitely give that to him. And then kind of in the same vein, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. I think his
yeah.
best role to date, being able to play these two
To people.
distinct character people, twins. So yeah, those are my lead performance winners.
Okay. Yeah, for me, so I have a couple from TV and a couple from movies as well. So for movies, I have Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein. I think anybody who has
Mm,
to do an intense amount of physical work in their acting deserves, praise, and he had to do that. I can't imagine the makeup in that. I'm not
right.
sure if you've seen it, but Joel Edgerton is in a film called Train Dreams on
Haven't seen it yet, but
yeah,
it's on my
and
list.
it's about the birth of the railroad through the United States, and it's just scenically beautiful. And he's an intense looking guy, and he could be playing the happiest role, and it's still going to be intense. But this movie is very intense, and he's very good in that. Um, where am I? Okay, Adam Scott. I also had Uzo Aduba for The Residents.
Yes.
I feel like nobody else liked that show, and that's probably why it didn't get a second season. But she was very good in that. Like,
She carried in that
yeah,
show.
absolutely. She's if it had gotten a second season, she would have been the reason. And then
Mm-hmm.
I believe Owen Cooper, the young boy from Adolescence.
Yes.
Yeah, just
Yes, he was
um,
incredible.
yeah, very good and a very important show, especially in today's time. So
Yeah. All right, we're moving to supporting performances. Um, I just added one because you reminded me. Uh, the kids of Alien Earth, all those
yeah,
actors being able to embody the minds and behavior of children in their
right.
adult bodies was
Yeah, very
incredible.
good.
Especially the actress who played now the name was slipping me, but the redhead girl, like the way she
Yes, yeah,
was having like the emotional trauma, and then it's both Smee and um, his friend slightly.
yeah,
Like their dynamic was very interesting. I thought that was incredible work. Tramel Tillman of Severance,
yeah,
sort of like the sort of both seasons. Like he should have got it for season one because he was the
absolutely.
standout there, and he continued because that character is so nuanced and complicated, and you're rooting against him one scene, and then you're rooting for him in
For him,
another
right?
scene. Incredible actor. And then I put Gatton. I don't know how to say his last name. Matarazzo.
Yeah, I can't
Ma-
pronounce either, but I know you're talking. Yeah,
yeah, from Stranger Things.
right.
Dustin. He's probably the single best kid actor on the show.
Oh, absolutely, I agree.
Um, he is dynamic for emotion and comedy is great. Um, and he's a standout this season. So those are my votes for supporting.
Okay. Okay, let me
Oh my
see here.
goodness.
Again, mine are mixed up, so I hope I pronounced her name correctly. I think she's supporting, but Wumi Mosaku from Sinners. Yeah, she was incredible in that. Kind of, well, she came in, I would say she came in about 15, 20 minutes into the film, and then she, stayed throughout it, but she's very good, always good in everything she does. We already spoke about her, but Amy Madigan from Weapons, the witch, the aunt, just yeah, I did not expect there to be comedy in that movie, but that had me. I had to pause the movie and be like, "Hold on, that's just ridiculous." But she's very good and very creepy. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then I put Amy Lou Wood from oh God,
White Lotus.
Thank You. Even though that was so far back earlier this year, very good. Stephen Graham from Adolescence, and then I just
Mm,
put the entire supporting cast of Severance. I think Tramel Tillman is the best, but
yeah.
everybody had great parts, especially whatchamacallit. We got a lot from what's it, John Turturro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought he really stood out this season.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I mean, they were all nominated, but
Yeah,
they're literally playing. Many of them are playing two different
exactly.
people,
Right.
essentially, and that's hard to do.
That's insane.
So yeah,
Yeah.
kudos to that whole cast and crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, breakout performance could be someone that just kind of stood out.
Yeah.
My third one is Elizabeth Dulau, who played the apprentice of shoot. Why are names slipping me? In
It always
Andor.
happens. Yeah.
Why? Her name started with a K. Shoot, 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 shoot. Kira. What was her name?
Hold on. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But given this was her first role,
Yeah.
and they weren't, she was not supposed to be this prominent. But after her performance in the first season, they're like, okay, let's give her more to do. She was definitely a standout,
Okay.
and this was her first role out of drama school. So
Oh
kudos
wow.
to her. Then I have both Miles Canton and Carrie Christopher. Miles for
Absolutely.
Sinners in his first role as Sammy. Carrie as the little boy Alex in Weapons. He was excellent for
Yeah.
his age. Very endearing. You fell for him immediately. Um, Very smart too. I love the way they wrote him in the film. And then I have the kid cast in Welcome to Derry. Excellent, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent performances, especially Ariana Ariana Carter, who played Richie. Just incredible work from a fresh new faces of actors. I hope I see in other work as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good list. Okay, so for me, I have one, and it's a movie we talked about. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet because you'll have to get Mubi. But his name is Theodore Pellerin, and this is the guy who's from the movie Lurker.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
haven't seen it
he
yet. It's on my list.
right. He's very, very good in that. Very kind of like a quiet, understated role, but he plays it very well. So he was somebody who surprised me. And then there's Jack Innanen. I think that's how I pronounce his name. He was in the Hulu show Adults, and his type of
Hmm.
comedy, I could definitely see him, catching fire, and we'll see him for years to come. I thought he was very, very good. And then hold on, I had to look up their name. Let's see if I find it because there
Oh,
were a couple. But oh yeah, no, it was what's his name? It was Miles Canton as well, Canton from Sinners. Yeah, so yeah, those are my breakout performances.
right. Now, disappointment of the year. So, my first one is Daredevil Born Again.
Okay.
It the hype was high given how groundbreaking the initial show and series was. Show and seasons were at Netflix, and just having that the same cast and that character finally join the MCU gave, PG-13 an edge. This was
Right.
rated TVMA, and we were all sort of looking forward to it. Did it deliver? Yes, it was good, but definitely did not reach the expectations people were
Expected.
expecting.
Yeah.
It finished stronger than it started, so it was very much uh, sort of like a stumble out of the gate for Marvel with that show. So,
Okay.
and then I haven't seen it, but everyone said the same thing. Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Like, yes, it makes all this money. It's a visual spectacle, but the story is the same. And the story was tired the first time, so
Okay.
I don't know what else James Cameron wants us to do with that
Right.
information.
Yeah. Just it's enough. It's enough. Um, let's see. Okay, so for TV, I only had one, and that was Task, the show on HBO. It was like a Mayor of East. I saw somebody, a critic, refer to it as the Mayor of Easttown for boys, and that's the best way to put it.
Basically,
But it just wasn't as good as Mayor of Easttown. It was just I just couldn't get into it, and so that one was the
mm-hmm.
only one I had for TV in terms of disappointment. Honey Don't, which I spoke about on here, and that's the film with Margaret Qualley. I can never say her last name, and Aubrey Plaza. It was fun and good, but it just kind of I just lost interest in it. It was just kind of I don't know. Um, this will come as a surprise, but I think when I saw the trailers, I thought Weapons was going to be something unheard of. And while it was still very, very good, I don't think I expected the witchcraft angle. I didn't know what it was going to be. So that was just a little disappointing to me. But I mean, the story
Gotcha.
was good. But yeah, that part I was like, oh, okay. Um, and then the last one I had was another movie, The History of Sound. And this was both Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor. And they're two guys who meet kind of around World War One here in the United States. They both play American characters, and they're recording songs, going around the country recording songs, and then they fall for each other. But it didn't hit. It was maybe one of those films where there's maybe too many talented people in it, so it just didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just didn't work out
Anytime
for
the
me.
cast is like everybody, you're like, this
Right.
could go either way.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to get into our favorites of the year. First, our favorite films. I have four here. I'll just give the
Okay. Yeah.
top three. My number three is Weapons.
Yeah.
Um, really surprised me. I will say, while the supernatural aspect was fine, I was thinking this would be more grounded just from
Yeah.
the trailer. I think that would have been more gripping, more interesting,
Right.
how you associate that in it. Because The Witch was kind of too simple, but still good execution.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right underneath Sinners, which is my number one, which I've talked at it ad nauseum, so I'm not going to mention it. Black Phone 2.
Yeah.
This film was incredible. I really enjoyed the first one. They upped the ante with the second one, and this might sound sacrilegious, but I feel the movie is like a faith-based horror, if that makes sense,
Oh wow. Yeah.
because so much of the message in it, well, kind of, it's sort of like there's like this dynamic with religion and sort of like spirituality and the supernatural, and it really hit very well, which is kind of odd. I could definitely see a series. They wouldn't have to cast the same people, but we could go into the future and have adult versions of these kids, and each week they solve like a new murder or a new mystery with
Yeah.
their powers. It's that good. So kudos to that whole team, and R.I.P. to James Ronson, who
Yeah.
starred in both Black Phone and Black Phone 2 as the grabber's brother, who sadly passed away by suicide in the last week.
Yeah.
And then Sinners, of course, it's my tour de force of the year. It's just
Yeah, it's hard to
No other
top.
movie was just sort of like the moment. Ever
Right.
since it was announced, people were just waiting to see what Ryan was doing, and it was a knock out of the park for me. So
All right. For me, my third film would be Train Dreams, and that just came out, but I really scenically like they're in the woods the majority of the film when it makes sense because they're trying to build train tracks and uh yeah, just such lush green tones throughout the film. But yeah, it just really set with me, and the story is good as well. Um, second would be Sinners, which was an incredible film. Often we don't too often get films that live up to the hype, and this one did that and did more. And so yeah, very glad with all the praise it's getting. And then the first one, maybe the most just devastating film I've seen in a while, but it's called Bring Her Back, and it's from the same people that did Talk to Me, the
talk to
one,
me.
yeah. And it is just it's a horror nightmarish film, but there's also a lot about loss and grief and trauma and abuse, and it's very, very hard to get through and for only 90 minutes, but it's extremely tough, but it was the best film I saw this year. Really kind of
Oh, nice.
yeah, very good.
All right, going to shows. Um, let's see. My honorable mention, I haven't mentioned this, is Chief of War
Okay,
on
yeah,
Apple TV from Jason Momoa.
right.
If you like Shogun, you like this. It's a historical fiction about the civil wars of the Hawaiian
Oh,
Islands, how that all went down, and the eventual fall to colonialism.
yeah,
I hope it gets a season two. I think it was renewed because they want to tell the entire
story.
history.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and Momoa directed the final episode of the season, which was incredible. This incredible display of action that they actually shot in Hawaii. I think the majority of the show was shot in New Zealand, but then they went to Hawaii for this specific episode. So incredible there. And then my number three is Severance. My number
yeah,
two is The Pits, HBO's medical drama, and then my number one is Andor. Just
yeah.
top tier television,
Incredible. So
incredible, par to the moment that we're living in now. Just
yeah,
Star Wars
absolutely.
like we've never
Yeah.
seen it before. So yeah,
And it's funny how when you live through moments that you know are going to be remembered through history, and these 4 years, if they last 4 years, uh,
right.
will be that. And so two of the shows on my list deal with the current state of the world. So my favorite series for the fourth one, I did Adolescence. Just incredible, like I said, very timely,
Mm.
well needed, and it kicked up a lot of discussion. Some of them good, some of them kind of like what, but either way, very good. And then I would put Andor above that. Like you, pretty much everything you said, just a very good show, much different from what we grew up knowing Star Wars to be. I guess. Well, you know what? Star Wars has always been about that. It's just as you
Mhm.
get older, you realize that, you start to see the
Yeah.
themes more. So there's that. And then another one, a sneak show, show that snuck in there again on Mubi, Mubi. This is kind of a indie streaming network that has films and television shows and shorts. This one is called Mussolini, Son of the Century. And it's about uh, Mussolini, the leader of Italy, who turned them into a fascist state in the 1920s, and it's so good. And they show how he did it, how he's able to maintain it, and how it fell apart. But what they do is instead of giving it this long, drawn out history, they make it almost flashy. They make it almost in a modern way. Like the vibe of the show is very modern, even though it's still taking place and set in the 20s, and they've got kind of upbeat music in it. It's very, very good. Just 8 episodes, and I wish it was on a bigger network so more people could see it, but it's very well done. And then number one for me is Severance. There wasn't a single episode that let me down. They had filler episodes, but even those were very good. So yeah,
Yeah.
best show of the year for me.
All right, and now we'll have
Yeah.
the final award for Entertainer of the Year. Um, this is kind of random for me, but I put Noah Wiley just because
Okay.
he earned his first Emmy
Jesus Christ.
win for the Pits after I don't know how many years on ER and
Right, right.
nominations and decades of acting. We saw him go from ER as the young resident to sort of like this adult character,
Yeah.
leading the pack on the Pit. And it's just like a nice button in his career so far, and kind of interesting where he'll go from this because after ER, like he's definitely worked, but there
Right.
wasn't anything particularly stand outish for him
No.
other than I thought he was great and different as the sort of like foil supporting actor in Enough with
Yeah,
Jennifer
that's true.
Lopez.
Yeah.
Like that was a role I was like, oh, him as a bad guy is
Right.
sort of like a departure. But yeah, he's sort of like had a sort of like a renaissance here
Yeah.
with the Pit. So that's my entertainer of the year.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a fair one. For me, my entertainer of the year has been having a good 2004, 2025, and is lined up to have a good 2026, and it's Josh O'Connor. He, every time I look up, he's in something new. It's insane. So he was in the
Mhm.
huge hit Challengers last year. He's in Knives Out this year. He's got stuff lined up through 2026, and yeah, and to be fair, he's good. But what's nuts is just I just remember watching him on the show The Doros and Corfu that came on PBS Masterpiece, and he was very skinny and kind of scrawny, didn't look anything like he did now because he's so young. And then he was in Peaky Blinders as well, where he's even younger. So yeah, he's just kind of hit a stride, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So yeah, I think he
Yeah.
gets it for this year.
And I've heard he's the best thing in the new Knives Out film. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
does an incredible job.
he
So
does.
that's on my
He's
list to watch during the next week or so.
and one thing that's funny is usually obviously I know he's English, but I'm not sure what type of accent they're having him try to put on. But this is the only time in him speaking with American accent that you can tell he's not
American.
American. Yeah, it shows. It's like, like okay,
All right. All right. Those are our
no,
superlatives, best of 2025. Now we'll get into our streams of the week. On this side of the camera, like I mentioned, I watched One Battle After Another, which is currently streaming on HBO Max. One second.
yep,
This is Paul Thomas Anderson.
Anderson, yeah, PTA.
Yeah, I was about to say Paul Wes Anderson. I was like, no, those two different people. Paul Thomas Anderson. Film starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Tiana Taylor, Sean Penn, about a sort of like rebellious uh, faction in the United States, sometime in modern times. Um, they are all dispersed after one is arrested. And then
Oh,
years later, Leonardo DiCaprio and his daughter are in like witness protection, and the word gets out where they are, and Sean Penn's character is down to track them down for the
oh,
crimes of the past. Um, People really enjoyed it. It's sort of the front runner for Best Picture, given the topic. It's shot wonderfully, great performances. There's never a dull moment. It's always moving, whether it's just a conversation
okay,
or action sequences. The cast is incredible. Like supporting actors like Tony Goldwyn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, um, other white actors you recognize, don't know their names. And the material gets very um, not uncomfortable, but very downright honest
yeah,
um, about the government and the way it uh, is moving, especially in the time we're living in. Um, I gave it 3.5 stars just because, like, while it's incredible to watch, you're never caught lagging in a 2 hour and like 45-minute film.
right, right,
the politics of it get a little murky, especially when it comes to the black women in the film.
Mm.
For instance, Tiana Taylor's character is Leonardo DiCaprio's lover, wife, whatever, which is kind of odd in anyway, given the age gap. But I guess Leonardo's supposed to be playing a 45-year-old in the film when he's
Oh,
actually 50
50
something.
something,
I don't
right.
know. Anywho, there's just something about the way her character is not used, but her decisions in the film felt a little weird.
Yeah.
Given, and maybe that's the point, given America's history with racism and sexual violence against black women. It gets kind of odd. And then her a decision in the film she makes is sort of like pivotal to the story and why we're here. So it's kind of hard to wrestle with. And there's not a lot of revolution in it. Like they're honestly, fighting against the fascist regime. You can see them sort of like rescuing these people, and they're doing sort of like terrorist attacks and whatnot. You're supposed to be rooting for them because the
Yeah.
government is conspiring against them, but there's just not a lot of, their motivation, their philosophy. It kind of goes off into sort of like a more uh, sort of like a rift between these two white men, and the black woman's in the middle. So it
Yeah.
gets a little weird. But I'll let you watch it and make
Yeah,
your
I'll
own
have to check it out.
decisions. Then there was Anniversary, which I remember seeing the promos for this, but had no idea how I was going to see it. And Deadline just happened to say, "Hey, RSVP for virtual screening and panel for this film." So, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 2 weekends ago, I signed up, watched on the Sunday afternoon. I forget the director's name. Because he's a foreigner. Hold on one second. Of course, I was just going to look up the word Anniversary. But the director is John Kumasa.
Mm.
And the film starred Diane Lane, Kyle Chandler, Phoebe Denever from Bridgerton,
Right.
and Dylan O'Brien were sort of like the main cast. And it's set, in modern day America, but Diane Lane's son, played by Dylan, marries a woman who has a different perspective on American politics.
Mm.
And her and the mother have history because she was a student in her class, and they clashed over their differences. And slowly but surely, the country shifts to more of a nationalist perspective and
Yeah.
regime that sort of denounces dissent. Very well done, very sharp dialogue and commentary on our current state of affairs. I'm sure it will come to streaming sometime. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was excellent, and it really showed one how easily people can be manipulated.
Right.
Not just manipulated, but how easily they can be turned when they're missing some type of security within themselves and
Exactly.
their value in society. And then just how, if any of these family members knew a single black person, it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So, yeah, great. And it's only an hour, 51 minutes. So
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
you get in, it moves very progressively. I really enjoyed it.
That's good.
And on the TV side, I watched the first season of Heated Rivalry on HBO Max. This is a Canadian show on the Crave network, which I never heard of.
Yeah, it's Canadian.
Yeah. About two rival hockey players who develop a secret love affair throughout their careers and just the journey they go on. It stars Hudson Williams and Connor Story. Excuse me. Really well done. I do feel like the episodes could be like a half hour rather than an hour,
Yeah.
but it was really good, and it's just not for the sex scenes, even though they were gratuitous. Um, but it was just a really good story, and a second season I think is already being greenlit because it's a book series.
You're right. Right.
So season two should be coming probably sometime, probably in 2 years, I would think.
Yeah.
Given that
Okay.
it's a Canadian show, and they'll have to film up there, and then it'll come here. But
Right.
yeah,
All right.
excuse me.
As for me, yeah, I've not watched anything this past week. It's just been strictly Christmasing. Didn't want to. I already had to be inside because the weather was weird, so I was like, I'm just not going to sit around and watch television. So.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Right, right.
All right. So this concludes a year of It's a Streamable Life. When we return, we'll be in the new year. We'll be discussing more Oscar talk, probably talking some, technical awards, writer, screenplay, stuff like that. We will have our quarter one preview. So what we're expecting in film and movies in the first 3 months of 2026. And we will be discussing the final episodes of Stranger Things Season 5.
Yeah.
We have Volume 2 just come out a few weeks ago, but we're going ahead and wait until the last episode drops to discuss
Everything.
the remainder of the entire series as one episode. So until then, keep on streaming.
Peace.